What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Land of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode of the DeAgostini Millennium Falcon from Fanhome. And we are entering the final 10% of this build. We are finally reaching stage 90. We're going to be doing some things in today's episode. We're going to be touching parts that we haven't touched since the early 20s. There's going to be a lot of work that's going to be done today. And as we get towards the end of this build, I'm kind of like, oh my goodness, there's a lot to do, but the end is in sight, like the literal finish line. I'm doing a recording session today, and at the end of that recording session, there are only going to be 8 stages left, and I got to make some decisions about some coding for the Arduino and a little bit of the mods that I do want to do for it. So before we get there, however, we need to finish 89 and 90, and 89 sees us basically getting the internal parts ready for assembly and test fitting them in place. Holy crap. Like, we'll be able to actually take a look at all the parts that I made for the Kashyykk Streak that we finished like way back in stage 28, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to be able to test fit them in place. And in stage 92, we're going to actually go ahead and secure everything after we get the mandibles installed. So we're going to be doing some work on the internal parts in stage 89. And then in stage 90, we're basically going to be finishing up the all the greeblies for the mandibles besides all the pipe pieces that we need to do, and basically getting ready to get them assembled. So without further ado, let's get on to building and stage 89. All right, so here is stage 89. Let's go ahead and get her open. Oh, I'm going out of order. I'm all excited to build. Let's go ahead and take a look at the magazine, shall we? Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. Excellent. The Haven class medical station. Now, we saw this, I believe it was in Rebels, and it is a Clone Wars era installation, but we saw it in Rebels when Captain Rex took Kanan and the crew to go find some medical supplies and just general supplies for the Resistance. Very, very cool. I'm very, not the Resistance, but the Rebellion. Different time period. But very cool episode and a very cool design. This would be a pretty cool scratch build. Something to think about, actually. There's one of our clones. And talking a little bit about just the Rebel Haven and the episode that we saw that in. Talking about fleet tactics again. And basically, you know, when I went through and read this, it was actually really fascinating. They were talking a little bit about how there was some inspiration for, you know, like the design of the ship and taking advantage of that. Then we have all of our parts, and then we're going to be going through and getting our first turret well assembled, including talking a little bit about the decision for the glazing for the ship. All right, a little bit of test fitting, a lot to do today. And at the end of this stage, we're going to basically have everything set in place with only really needing to get the mandibles complete before we can finally assemble, because we need to run wires underneath. So let's go ahead and get into our parts and take a look to see what we got. And it looks like we have a bunch of base plates. Yep, base plate, base plate, base plate, and some side frames we're going to be setting aside for the moment. We're going to go ahead and bring back this piece here, and I believe that should be it for the moment. So let's go ahead and start with zooming out and talking a little bit about the glazing. Now, obviously, in the shooting model for the Empire Strikes Back shooting model, they did not put the glazing in because it would give unwanted reflections. Now, I've kind of gone back and forth on this. I did not put any of the glazing or windows into the Perfect Grade Falcon when I did it. I wanted that one to be pretty screen accurate. But in hindsight, I may have kind of wished that I had, because dust eventually over time will build up. Now, I go through and use my airbrush and blow out everything that I can. But for this one and the size of this model and the size of the holes that it would leave, I am going to go ahead and use the glazing that was provided in the model. So I'm going to go grab some parts. I'll be right back. And when we do, we'll go ahead and start with installing our glazing and then getting our first turret put into place. All right, so here is our turret that we went ahead and completed, God, a while back. When did we? Stage 44 is when we last worked on this. And as you guys recall, in that episode, I went through and completely detailed and custom did the seats and the control panel. Totally not necessary, but something that I really wanted to do, so I got that done. And then here we have the pack for stage 40, which happens to have all of our glazing inside. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Finally throw away the packaging for stage 40. God, it's crazy to think that that was 50 stages ago. That is so crazy to me. I am so lucky that I managed to get this model finished. Basically, like it's delivered to me on time, and I'm very grateful for that. I didn't really experience too many delays with this one, unlike with Kit, which happened to have a lot of delays. And so let's go ahead and start. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here and do some of the work on installing all of the like the lower bits and getting all of our the hold part all put together real fast before we start bringing all this, before I bring the bottom of the model up, because this thing is pretty large and ungainly, and at this point it is very difficult to get onto my workbench. So let's go ahead and skip over to adding the interior. And let's go ahead and grab all of our interior pieces. And they've been sitting inside of this Tupperware for a while. So here we are. I am very proud of the work that was done in here. There's a lot of assembly that needs to be done. And oh, wow. Yeah, these need to be put back together. We need to go ahead and get one of our Kashyykk Streak little clips in place here. There we go. Then go ahead and match up everything here. Nope, needs to go in the other way. Clipped in properly. There we go. Get that clipped in properly. And one of our Chewy had a bit of a mess right there. I got to say, the weathering did turn out really good through here. I'm really proud of the work that I did. All right, we got a bunch of our rings. Here is our internal hold. I am going to have some parts printed to put over here into this corner and stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. I already have the files for it, but that's how that turned out. One of our hallways here. The ceiling for over top. And, oh yeah, the windows. Oh man, this is going to be exciting. There's going to be some things we get to do here. So, all of our parts are put off to the side. Okay, so first things first, what I need to do is I need to bring out a bunch of screws. Some of those short ones. Here we are. And just kind of leave my screw box off to the side here because there's going to be lots we're going to need to do. So first things first, I need to go through and I need to go ahead and get all of my different parts assembled and put together properly so that everything matches up. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go through, make sure everything's all assembled properly here. I'll be right back, and we'll talk about what we're doing next. All right, so after taking probably, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, go through and just get everything assembled. I hadn't had put a chance to put these two sections together, so I went ahead and screwed in one up top, and then two down below right here. And then what I did is to secure all of the rings, all of the famous pads that I really hated doing, I went ahead and just glued at each one of the points along the top here, as you can see, to hold them in place. And then that is what our completed corridor section looks like. Really dirty. I think it turned out really good. Like, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. I'm really happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of glue. And over here at the end where we need a little connection. Pop a little glue in there. And we'll hold that in place for just a moment. All right, so before we start installing these into place, what I'm going to do is kind of a cool little trick that I learned from Todd, Marble Phoenix, and I haven't had a chance to reference his build on this, but over here at myfalconbuild.com, you can find the complete instructions for how to build this in a much more sensible manner than the model provides for the instructions that the model provides for us. But with that being said, what he has done has provided me, actually, and he's going to be doing this as well, with some mirrors. Now, what we're going to be doing with these mirrors is we're going to kind of create the idea that the hallway goes on for a little bit longer. And so what we'll do is we'll put a little mirror at the end here, and when you look around the corner, it looks like the hole continues to move around the corner just like so. Huh? Very cool. And we'll pop that out and see what that effect really does for this build. That is so cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one right here. We're going to put one right here. This is the hallway leading to the main corridor leading to the bridge or the cockpit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put one of them here at the end of this hallway here, where basically this is an offshoot of the main cargo or the main hold. So let's go ahead and get the 3 mirrors installed, and we'll start with the easy one here. And what I'm going to do is very carefully, got a couple of these here, and they've already been pre-cut by Todd. He'll provide, of course, the measurements on his website when he gets to this point. So go ahead and peel off our backing here. Very good. And we'll get this one cleaned up before we install. What I'm going to do is just with the tiniest little bit of CA, I'm just going to go ahead and put a drop here at the top, one along the side, one at the other side, and I'm simply going to drop it in place and hold. I don't want to go too crazy with the glue because I don't want it to cloud out the mirror. But there that is. Very, very cool. I'm going to take a little bit more glue. And just along the sides here where we really can't see too much. Yeah, let's get a couple more connection points. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and take care of the other 2 that we're going to do. So we're going to do one here and one here. Same concept. Just a little bit of glue. Just the tiniest little bit. You don't need a whole lot. Just enough to kind of tack it in place. And I am aware that one of my cushions is missing. That went away a long time ago. I have no idea what happened to it. Then go ahead and hold that one in place. Very cool. Wow, this is so cool. What a great idea, Todd. All right, this one's going to need a little bit more glue. And we're just going to tack it up along the top there. All right, well, that one is curing. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side of the corridor here. And for this one, I wonder how it's going to fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, I loathe to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue along the sides here. And if we get a little bit of clouding, that'll be fine. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Just 3 little spots. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, the other one fell out, and that's fine. Oh, no. Ah, I see. Maybe a little spot along the bottom down here. There we go. Hold that in place for just a couple minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, so our mirrors have been installed. So, trying to catch the infinite corridor heading back down the other way. And the corridor heading off the other side. Yeah, it turned out really good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move on. There was things to do there. Let's go ahead and set this aside, let it continue to cure up. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn this piece over, and we're going to glue the 4 pins here to this right here. But first, let's go ahead and give a test fit. Oh, I see. Not those pins, these pins. Give a little test fit here, make sure everything's all fitting properly. Okay, this does only fit one way, so it fits well. Let's go ahead and grab our glue. We're going to go inside of each one of these. Very quickly. And go ahead and get it put into place. Hold that down for just a moment in order for it to sit flush. So I'm going to do this for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, so while I let that cure up, let's go ahead and grab the next piece. And we're going to go ahead and flip this over carefully, okay? And then there are 4 little posts that we're going to need to match up with those 4 spots here. So let's go ahead and make sure our screws are all the way screwed down. Making sure I don't over torque on the other side. Okay, we're good. Okay, so now, go ahead and make sure that sits there. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do, put a spot of glue. Actually, I think the spot of glue should go right here. On each one of these. Let's go ahead and mount up. Hold that in place for just a moment. All right, that's put in place. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our last part here. And we're going to mount those right here in the same exact way. All of our holes look good here. So, just putting glue on the spots where I want it to connect up. We're going to go ahead and get that put into place and held down. I'll be right back. All right, so let's go ahead and turn both parts over, and they should stand up on their own and sit nice and flat. Let me go ahead and switch over to the side camera real fast. As you can see there, I'll bring it a little bit closer. It's sitting up on its posts. Nice and flat and easy. Turned out pretty good. All right, excellent. Now, a little bit of a test fit. We're not going to glue just yet, as we're going to be doing in the next couple stages. We're going to be getting everything installed. But let's go ahead and bring up the main hole and move everything off to the side. God, there's so much room for activities. Let's just say that. All right. Set everything off to the side here, and let's grab the main hole. Or the lower hole, as I should say. All right, there we are. And I'm going to go ahead and angle it towards the front here. Let's go ahead and slide this out of the way, the battery pack. And our little screw cover from the last episode. Like I said, I'm doing a bit of a recording session right now. So let's go ahead and grab our glazing. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and set this on top. Just like so. Excellent. Nice and easy. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab the turret well. And as you can see, there's a notch in it here. We're going to go ahead and align it with the notch there. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and glue it in place. So to do so, I'm just going to go ahead and put some dots of glue along the surface that we're going to be gluing it to. Not going too crazy with the glue. Once again, super glue is super glue, and it will hold. I also want to be able to fix something if over time something needs to be repaired. So I'm not going to glue the entire surface down, but let's go ahead and get that installed. Hold that in place for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, our turret is put in place. Then we're going to go ahead and wire it up to J7, which is right here, I believe. Yep. Then we're going to go ahead and press B to test, and it does indeed light up, so we're all good to go there. Excellent news. Perfect. Now, pretty much all caught up with what we just did. So now what we're going to do is, for the sake of this, we're going to go ahead and get some of our parts kind of pre-installed, so to say. So how we're going to do this is facing towards the front. There are 4 posts right here. Oh, very cool. And there we are. Oh, no. Faces the other direction. Right? Make sure this is facing the right direction here. No, I had it right the first time. I have my instructions I have my model facing the opposite direction, so I do have this facing the right direction. Excellent. There we go. Now, with it heading over this way, we're going to go ahead and join up, matching up with some posts over here. Sitting just like so, and lined up. Oh. Uh-oh. Did not need to put that mirror in place, so no worries. There we go. I was like, wait, hold on. There we go. Oh, yeah. And then, in the next stage, we'll go ahead and fit, not in the next stage, but here coming soon, we'll fit this one up over here. Very, very cool. All right, so we're going to leave that like this until next episode. But there it is, my friends. Wow. We have our internal part basically fit into place. Now, a little bit more work needs to be done, as there is just stuff absolutely everywhere. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the model. And right back here, we're going to put in a couple of support posts. And so I need to grab some of my black button screws. We're going to grab 4 of these. or more than 4 because that's what my screwdriver grabbed. And grabbing these 2 parts that we've left over from the previous episode, we're going to go ahead and grab both of these out. And where they're going to sit is going to be right up here, one here, and one here. And these act as a support to hold the hull up as we go along. So let's go ahead and grab one of our screws, get it loaded up. And that's set in place right over the top. There we go. Grab another screw. All right. There we go. And there it is. Our 2 support posts are put into place. Our internal hold is test fit. We are all set with stage 89. Let's go ahead and move on to stage 90 and do a little bit of work on some greeblies. I can take some stuff off my desk. All right, so here is stage 90. This one should be a fairly quick one for you guys, but kind of once again, a little bit long for me as greeblies do take some time to process. So let's go ahead and take a look at the magazine real fast. The Shadowcaster. This is a Lancer class. It was from one of the Mandalorian arcs and Rebels. Very, very cool. Very cool ship as well. And it's Kitsu Onyo, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's her name. Very, very cool character. Former Mandalorian. Let me go ahead and... Oh, former Mandalorian. A Mandalorian who kind of worked as a bit of a bounty hunter, so to say. And talking about different manufacturers, you have the Corellian Engineering Corporation, you have Cyanar Fleet Systems, and I believe Kuat, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's Kuat. There we go. Had to think about there for a second. Talking about our next parts, we're going to be finishing up all the details on the mandibles except for the pipes on the greeblies. As I said, we're going to be putting the pipes on later on. But our instructions and getting ready for the next episode where we get to do basically finishing the lower half assembly so that we can start getting ready to put on the top. So let's go ahead and get into our parts and take a look. All right. So we have some side frame sections. We're going to go ahead and hold on to these for now and set them off to the side. And then we have our greeblies, which we're going to go ahead and need to take care of. So, as always, I'm going to go ahead and run through real fast, get all of these separated, put out in order, and cleaned up, and we'll go ahead and quickly run through and get them installed. All right, so our last part is taken care of. Total of 13 pieces, it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and do the first one with you guys, and then I'll go ahead and do my usual little montage that I do because it just goes by so much quicker. It is just a faster thing than saying, okay, we're going to grab part number 2 and we're going to put it right here. And yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead and grab a little bit more glue as I did get a little low after the last little bit. I used the Bob Smith Industries glue or Hobbytown glue as it winds up looking. Go ahead and cut off this little ball here. Into my glue tool. There we go. All right, so now let's go ahead and grab our mandibles. All right, and our port side mandibles where we're starting here. Excellent. Wanted to make sure I was right on that. That is the port side. Perfect. All right, so we're going to be starting right here. And with this little detail here facing this way, we're going to go ahead and mount that up. The inside of the holes here. And mount up. And there we go. All right. So I will go ahead and put here in the corner what part and which mandible. I'll denote that with, I'll say port up in the top corner or starboard on the other side. So I'll go ahead and run through all 13 of these real quick, and I will be right back. So there it is. Last greebly's put into place. And we did most of our work actually here on the starboard mandible. I'm assuming that we have more greeblies to put on later on. But there it is, my friends. This was a nice hour-long recording session. A lot of work to get done. A lot of kind of fitting and testing and making sure that we're all ready to go. But here we are. We are basically at the point where we're ready to assemble the mandibles. And would you believe that we're going to be taking care of that in the next episode? But first, we're going to be bringing in our first pair of graphics detail into this model and working a little bit on the engines and getting them properly set up and ready to go. So that's what I got for you guys today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, and I think that's pretty damn cool. Guys, have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember that the Force will be with you always.